Have you ever woken up and before your feet even touched the floor, your mind was already running through a list of everything that could go wrong today? The missed deadlines, the awkward conversation you have to have, the bill you forgot to pay. It's like your brain is a 24-hour news channel that only broadcasts bad headlines. You try to shake it off, but the negativity sticks, like a fog you can't walk out of. I know that feeling because I used to live there. And here's the dangerous thing. Negative thinking doesn't just make you feel bad in the moment. It seeps into your decisions, your relationships, your opportunities. It convinces you not to take the job, not to talk to that person, not to start that project, because what if it doesn't work out? It's a thief, stealing your time, your peace, your potential. The Stoics, thousands of years ago, saw this trap. They didn't have Instagram algorithms or 24/7 news cycles, but they had the same human mind, one that could easily spiral into fear, doubt, and pessimism. And they learned something powerful. While you can't control what happens, you can control how you think about it. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his journal, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." That's not just philosophy, it's a lifeline, because the truth is negative thinking is not reality. It's a habit. And like any habit, it can be broken. The question is, will you let your mind run you, or will you learn to run your mind? In the next few minutes, we're going to break down how the Stoics transformed their thinking, not by pretending everything was perfect, but by training themselves to see clearly, respond calmly, and choose deliberately, even in the middle of chaos. This is not about toxic positivity or ignoring problems. It's about building a mind so steady, so grounded, that negativity has nowhere to take root. And by the end of this, you'll know exactly how to start doing the same. So if you've ever felt trapped inside your own thoughts, this is your wake-up call. It's time to break free. Negative thinking is sneaky. It doesn't usually announce itself as "I'm here to ruin your life." It starts small, a passing doubt, a tiny criticism you repeat to yourself, a what if that spirals into 10 more. At first you think you're just being realistic. You call it caution, preparation, even wisdom. But the truth is it's like pouring a drop of ink into a glass of water. Soon everything is clouded. You start avoiding opportunities, not because you can't do them, but because your mind has already played out the worst case scenario 100 times. You say no to that coffee meeting because they might not like you. You skip applying for that job because you assume they'll pick someone better. You hold back your ideas in meetings because, in your head, they're probably not good enough. And slowly, without realizing it, your world gets smaller. The cost isn't just missed opportunities. It's the erosion of your own self-belief. Every time you choose to listen to that negative voice, you strengthen it. Every time you act out of fear instead of courage, you teach your brain that safety is more important than growth. The Stoics understood this danger. They warned that our minds can be our greatest ally or our worst enemy. Seneca wrote that, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality," and modern life proves him right. How many sleepless nights have you had over things that never happened? How many joyful moments have you spoiled by replaying something bad from the past? Negative thinking taxes you twice, first in the moment, by stealing your peace, and later by limiting what you even dare to try. It's like living in a prison with invisible walls where the guard is your own mind. The scariest part? Most people never notice they're locked in because they believe those thoughts are simply who they are. But they're not. They're habits, patterns, loops you can break if you're willing to take back the keys. And once you understand the cure, not just in lost happiness, but in the life you could be living, you'll realize something the Stoics knew all along. You can't afford to let negativity run the show. The Stoics knew that life was not a battle against the world. It was a battle against ourselves. They believed that our happiness and peace are determined not by events, but by how we interpret them. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor who ruled over millions, wrote in his private journal, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." To the Stoics, negative thinking wasn't just a bad mood. It was a failure to exercise the one power no one could take from you, control over your own perspective. Epictetus, born a slave, taught that people are not disturbed by things, but by the view they take of them. Two people can face the same storm. One sees a disaster, the other sees a test. The difference isn't in the waves, but in the mind. When you're trapped in negative thinking, you hand over your agency. You become like a ship that lets every gust of wind decide its direction. The Stoics practiced a kind of mental training that made them resilient in the face of life's unpredictability. They didn't wait for a perfect, calm day to feel at peace. They created peace by refusing to let their inner dialogue be poisoned. In their eyes, every thought you entertain is a seed. Nurture fear, and it grows into paralysis. Nurture gratitude, and it grows into courage. They saw the mind as a garden, and your job as the gardener is to decide what grows. This is where the Stoic mindset becomes a weapon against negative thinking. Instead of trying to control the uncontrollable, the opinions of others, the twists of fate, the passage of time, you focus on the one thing that's truly yours, your reasoned choice. When a Stoic encountered failure, they didn't sink into self-blame. They asked, what is within my control to change? What can I learn? When they encountered criticism, they didn't let it define them. They decided whether the feedback was useful and discarded the rest. This shift is powerful because it breaks the loop of negativity at its root. Once you realize that every toxic thought is optional, you stop letting it dictate your actions. You stop feeding it, and slowly the voice that used to shout in your mind becomes a whisper, one you can choose to ignore. For the Stoics, this wasn't positive thinking for the sake of feeling good. It was clarity, seeing reality without the fog of fear, assumption, and self-sabotage. That clarity is the first step to breaking free from the mental prison of negative thinking. The Stoics didn't just talk about freeing the mind from negativity, they lived it through daily practices. The first is the view from above. Imagine for a moment that you could rise above your life, like an eagle soaring into the clouds. From up here, the problems that feel so heavy shrink into tiny details. That argument you had, that email you regretted, that small failure. From this perspective, they're not permanent marks on your life. They're specks in a much larger canvas. Marcus Aurelius would picture the earth from high above to remind himself how small his troubles were in the vast sweep of time and space. This practice doesn't make problems disappear, but it breaks the illusion that they are all that exist. When you pull back and see the bigger picture, you realize you have survived every bad day so far, and you will survive this one too. The second practice is negative visualization. And no, it's not about wallowing in worst-case scenarios. It's about rehearsing them so they lose their power over you. Seneca advised his students to set aside a certain number of days during which you shall be content with the scantiest and cheapest fare, with coarse and rough dress, saying to yourself, is this the condition I feared? By deliberately imagining or even briefly living through hardship, you train your mind to stop fearing it. Fear feeds negative thinking, but when you face the thing you fear, even in your mind, it becomes less threatening. The Stoics would visualize loss, failure, or discomfort not to depress themselves, but to strengthen themselves. So when life inevitably threw those things at them, they were ready, unshaken, and able to act with clarity. The third practice is the discipline of assent, the ability to decide which thoughts you allow into your mind. Epictetus compared the mind to a fortress and told his students that not every idea deserves entry. Just because a thought appears doesn't mean it's true, and it certainly doesn't mean it's worth keeping. The next time a wave of negative thinking crashes in, I'm not good enough. This always happens to me. I'll never succeed. Pause and ask, is this thought helping me? Is it based on fact or just on fear? If the answer is no, you let it go. You don't fight it or argue with it. You simply refuse to give it more attention than it deserves. This is one of the most freeing realizations in Stoic philosophy. You are not your thoughts. You are the observer, the gatekeeper, the one who decides which thoughts shape your reality. These three practices work best together. Start your day with the view from above, reminding yourself that you are part of something vast and timeless. Use negative visualization to strip away the fear of losing what you have so you can focus on making the most of it now. And throughout the day, apply the discipline of ascent to guard your mind like a precious city, only letting in what will help you live well. Over time, these habits build a kind of mental muscle, the resilience to see challenges as opportunities, to let go of what you can't control, and to remain steady no matter what storms blow through your life. You'll find that the loop of negative thinking begins to weaken. The voice that used to criticize you at every turn starts to fade. And in its place, there is space. Space for gratitude, space for purpose, space for joy. The Stoics didn't promise a life without hardship. They promised a mind that could thrive even in hardship. That's the real freedom. Diadem. Our freedom, not waiting for life to be perfect to feel peace, but creating peace no matter what life gives you. Negative thinking is a prison, but here's the truth. The key has always been in your hands. The Stoics understood that life will throw storms at you, but you don't have to live drenched in the rain of your own thoughts. You can choose which thoughts to keep and which to let go. You can train your mind to rise above the noise, to face fears before they control you, to protect the gates of your inner world. And you don't have to transform overnight. Start small, start now. Maybe tonight, before you sleep, you'll try the view from above and see your life from a higher perspective. Maybe tomorrow morning, you'll practice negative visualization for 5 minutes, just to prove to yourself that you can face discomfort and survive. Or maybe today, you'll catch one single negative thought, pause, and decide not to let it in. Remember Marcus Aurelius's words, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." That power is yours right now in this very moment. So the next time you feel trapped in the loop of I can't, I'm not enough, or nothing ever changes, stop. Take a breath. Ask yourself, is this thought helping me live the life I want? If not, release it. Because every thought you choose is a step toward the person you're becoming. Protect that mind, and you'll protect your peace, your purpose, your life. Start today. Your stronger self is waiting.